Hello, y'all. Welcome to another episode of the Devon Taylor podcast. Devon has been taking a break, but he's now ready to give you more content. He does ask one favor. Can you like and comment on the video? He would love to hear your thoughts and love. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. He's on a mission to reach the entire world and needs your help every step of the way. So, if you would be so kind to like he and I, would greatly appreciate it. All right now, have a great day. Enjoy the episode.
Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor, Devon Taylor podcast.
I'll tell you one thing about me. I have never ran from a fight. Like I'm not afraid of confrontation, having hard conversations. Mm-hmm. And most people, they will throw rocks and then hide their hands.
Absolutely.
I don't like that. I don't do that. I'm about that life of having conversations, confronting the situation. Let's sit down and let's talk and let's deal with the discomfort of whatever it is you're feeling. But most of the time, y'all, most people don't want to ever really sit down and talk because they don't want to have to be able to acknowledge what it is that they're internally going through, like whatever their internal struggle is. It's easy for people to run and act like they're a victim, but if people really confronted things and had honest conversations, they would realize that most of the pettiness is not because of something external, but it's because of your own individual internal struggle. And that's what's creating the external problem. It starts within you. Period.
Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of the Devon Taylor podcast. I know it's been a minute. I've been doing a little, just self-reflecting and taking time to myself and spending time with my family and really just taking this time to be more zen and center with myself because I do this a lot, or I do this often, where I will take this break to kind of recharge or re-energize myself back into the creative whole being that I know that I am. But taking some time to myself has been so essential sometimes in my progression in life that it just felt natural to do it again at this time. And I'm speaking to breaks specifically with social media. So yeah, I've been a little down and out, and honestly, the best way to describe it is that we've just been going through a lot of changes over here. And with those changes, it's just been really, really hard to cope with and deal with, and it almost feels like a whirlwind. And so, yeah, I've needed to take this break from social media for a while, but I just decided to do it. It's been I think 4 weeks now. And I think what was the most important thing to me about taking social media breaks is just really getting a lot of rest. Getting a lot of rest, be able to re-energize, rejuvenate yourself, bring yourself back to life. Obviously, I still had to do things because, the wheel never stops. But I guess I was just more so giving myself time to recharge. And that just felt so refreshing. You need to do that sometimes. If you're working a 9 to 5 and, you're having to go to work every day, if you have accrued time, spend that time to just reset yourself, because I can't stress how much taking time for yourself is needed, because we just live in a world of, I don't want to call it all chaos and crazy, but there's a lot going on. If we're not in our own energy and we're not finding ourselves that time to be with ourselves, we're definitely not going to be able to be there for the people around us. And so this episode, I just wanted to focus mainly on that, taking social media breaks, why it's so important, why you may want to do it, why other people have been known to do it. Like,
Get off social media. That would be my honest advice. But that's a nearly impossible thing to say to a generation younger than me and my generation as well. So my advice is everything you're looking at is 90% fake.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what's behind a photo. And you have no idea what's actually going on. All you have is who you are. Take breaks and just enjoy what's actually around you. Because believe it or not, everything in this little tiny device does not define you, does not make you a human. It's simply a device. You can put it down and be a part of the world again.
celebrities and so forth. So this is a pretty short episode. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get on here and express that there's so much that I'm trying to work on, so much that I'm trying to do, and so much that I'm trying to accomplish that if for me, I needed to take a break naturally. I needed to be able to kind of refocus because I felt like, if you look at what we're doing on social media, especially my partner who's been jet setting around the country. If you look at what we're doing on social media, you can see that there's been a lot of transition and the direction we're going, why we're going in that direction, and ultimately what we're trying to do. Like, what's the end goal here? And so I guess with that being said, as the changes have been like kind of like you see it online as they have been happening, there's also been changes happening for myself, and I'm sure for the kids, just because they're growing up. And yeah, it's just been a lot of changes. It happening all too many, like all together at once. So I wanted to get on here and say since there were so many changes happening, and um, I have a partner who's very vocal when it comes to being on social media because he loves to share his voice. And that's another thing. That's kind of what I wanted to like kind of hit on why I took a break was I also love to share my voice too. And I love what I'm doing with the podcast. And every guest that I've had on the podcast has been such a tremendous like help to spreading that message, getting that message across, of just reaching people and telling your story and us all being able to connect at a human level, like at the base of why I'm doing the Devon Taylor podcast. That is exactly why I want to be able to reach an audience, a story, resonate with someone that may be going through something very similar, and they're able to find some kind of guidance or help through listening to my podcast. That is the goal. And as I've had each and every guest that has been on, I have had to take a step back sometimes to really reevaluate how I'm servicing each guest and how I'm bringing each story to life. And something that was really profound that was brought to me was that I should start a newsletter with the podcast, which I think is a great idea, but that takes time, that takes energy. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to know that that time and energy is going somewhere where it's needed. Like it's reaching the person, the story is getting to the people that it needs to get to. Because if it's not, then that to me feels like a waste, at least on my end. And I don't want to feel like what I'm doing is a waste. So I've taken a step back from doing the podcast just a few weeks. I've done this before. Like I said, you have to take a step back to reevaluate where you're at, what your purpose is, why you're doing this. And so I took a step back to see why I'm doing this. And it's just coming even harder, like in my mind. I've already written my first book for Icarus. I need to work on the second one. We need to start getting way more traction with the podcast and what we're doing. So not that I need to tell more compelling stories, but I need to be more compelled to tell my stories more oftenly, more frequently, and more giving you guys more variety. So I'm thinking that newsletter might be a good idea or good addition, but you'll see to this episode even some of the things that I've changed around and why it might benefit the podcast a little bit more. And then prioritizing, like I said, getting back to why I stopped in the first place, prioritizing myself so that I can have that mental clarity to see why exactly I'm doing this. Like, why are we doing this, Devon? What's the end goal? What are we trying to accomplish? Who are we trying to reach? And like I said, the world, of course, but even to bring that in more perspective so that I can focus on one group at a time. And then eventually touch the whole world. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking and what I've been called to do when I take a step back from social media, take a step back from posting, and take a step back from just being involved in the social media square space or web space or whatever you want to call it. And I think there's something powerful to doing that. And I do that in a certain way too. Like, I'm quiet when I take my step back because a lot of people will interpret you announcing it or like you saying something about it a certain way.
I have had it with people on social media that make a huge stink and a huge announcement that they're going to take a break from social media.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Don't announce it. Just go.
Shut the fuck up. If you're going to take a break from social media, take a break. Posting about your break is, in fact, the opposite of the break. Furthermore, I've seen the people that do this. I've seen some likes. I've seen some likes floating around during this alleged break.
Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody even notices that you're not on social media until you tell them.
And I would argue that the announcement of the departure and the announcement of the re-arrival is nothing short of just overt, documented narcissistic personality disorder in the permanent record.
But then people will reach out and ask you certain questions if you're not constantly posting like how you used to post, which is, you're going to get either or. I find it more supportive when I just, take a step back, disappear into the dark, not announce it per se, like, hey, I'm taking a break. We'll be back this so many weeks. Like, I just kind of take a step back because it is my show at the end of the day. And Wendy Williams took a lot of breaks. And if Wendy Williams can do it, why can't I? I mean, just kidding. But no, in all seriousness, I don't announce it usually. Usually it's because if you do announce it, you do get people that have a negative reaction. And that's not something I want to deal with. So I just take my step back gracefully until this becomes like a syndicated deal with Radio 1 Music or like, I don't know, what are those podcasting channels or hosting channels that pick up DJs or people that can, speak on a mic is basically what I'm trying to say. Until it's something like that in a contract where I don't have to, where I have to show up every single day and this and that, and I don't have it written in my contract that I can take this or this amount of time off or whatever the case may be, which I will have written in my contract because I will make sure that I have time for myself no matter where I'm at and no matter what I'm doing and no matter who I'm representing. I will make sure that I have time in my contract to be taken off. And if not, then I don't think it's a deal for me. But I just think it's so important to take social media breaks, just in general. And so I haven't been posting. I haven't been doing the podcast. I haven't been I'll watch on social media and support like by liking things. But for the most part, like trying to take a step back. Like I've tried to spend extended hours doing other things like writing, reading, creating some of the things you've seen in the podcast, cleaning. Cleaning has been huge, reorganizing. I don't know if you guys can see, but behind me, I've got I'm like trying to work on getting a setup too, so that even the presentation on YouTube is different. Yeah, just working on different things and focusing on different areas on how to improve my life right now, because there's so much going on in this world. The one thing that we can control, which is ourselves, our mind, what we spend our time on, it's just so important to really hone in on that even more, if that makes any sense. Like, if there ever was a time to focus on the things that you can control, now is the time. Now is the time to really do that. And so that's the way I look at it. When I'm taking a break from social media, I'm almost taking that time to focus on myself. Because there's so much that you'll see in social media that's a facade, that's not, like, it's just not true. A lot of these people are not living these lives, or at least, they're showing you their highlight, but that's not what's happening every single day. And if it is, more power to them. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean you have to compare what's going on in your universe to what's going on in theirs. Because really, it's all just, in not every situation, I can't speak that generally, but like, there's a lot of things that we can't control when it comes to creating the reality that we want to see. So I will say, if you're watching someone's life and feeling jealous.
And I took a break from social media because it was causing me, it was really like causing depression.
Why depression?
Because comparison is the killer of all joy. All people do is post their highlight reels. And I'm comparing my real life to somebody's highlight reel.
That's okay. That's okay. But there's also something that there's a reason why you're seeing that maybe in this lifetime, and it's that's available to you too as well. It may not be available in that moment or monetarily, but it's available to you as well. Like, your power to attract things is so much stronger than you allow yourself or give yourself credit. So I just think it's so important to, if that is happening and that's happening more frequently and you're not being able to find yourself being taken out of that jealousy, that rage, that misunderstanding of why you and not me, and you're not looking at it from a perspective of, this isn't happening to me, this is happening for me. I think that is a healthy sign to take a social media break, like a healthy sign. That's not necessarily what I was going through. I took a social media break because of everything we were doing. And honestly, to be vulnerable, how everyone may be perceiving it. Like, what are people thinking when they're seeing JC go from state to state to state? You know what I mean? What are people seeing when they see me living in my home? Or, I don't know. I was posting a lot with us eating different places. Like, what are people thinking about me? And honestly, I just didn't want to be able to have that judgment or that misunderstanding of my life represented in that way. So instead, I just took it down, or just, took a step back. But I'm realizing that, it's healthy to take social media breaks, like I'm saying.
I didn't have social media for 2 years. I was driving myself crazy. First off, there was a million things that I didn't want to see.
Yeah.
And I would see them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Then I'm comparing. Then I'm looking at these people and I'm like, how do they... it's all the things that people say, right? It's nothing new. It's that you usually sometimes feel like shit. You have FOMO. Everyone's life looks amazing. And that happens to me too. I'm like, well, what am I not, like, I'm missing the plot here, like, right? Something's, how come it's so fun for everyone else? Then it just started getting dark. Like, there were accounts that were dissecting me down to my body, to my face, to my features, choices I've made, telling stories. And it drove me crazy because I honestly just wanted to be like, none of you are
qualified.
like,
or,
none
yeah.
of you even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it just destroyed me. So I stopped. And I tell every single person, everything changed.
But it's also healthy to while you're taking those social media breaks to refocus on other things and really refocus on yourself. And if that even means sleeping and not doing anything and being a complete bum, then do what you have to do. Because, yeah, we live in a time where, like, even breathing right now is exhausting. There's so much to what we go through as humans. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit to relax and be in our own space and own energy. So, but yeah, I just took a break to really focus on myself. Like I said, my family. I had all my nieces and nephews over, the majority of them. So I had 9 kids in one house to 1 adult. And yes, I did that all by myself, even with a 5-month-old. So that goes to show that I'm really good with kids. But yeah, I just took a lot of time to refocus and reestablish what I was trying to do with the podcast, which is, once again, I will re-say it with all my might, which is to tell stories of all different types of people, of perseverance, of struggle, of faith, of hope, and show and try to reach as many people as we possibly can who may be experiencing or going through the same exact thing. So, yeah, hopefully that time and that break was perfectly planned and needed. And if you are feeling the same way where you need a little bit of a break, I am here to tell you that it is healthy to do so, especially even more healthier to do so when it comes to, when it comes to social media. So if I were you and you're feeling a little bit of struggle, or you're doing a little bit of a comparison and you can't really find your own thoughts and you can't really find yourself through the mess we call life, I'm going to be the first one to encourage you to take a break. So sending so much love, sending so much guidance and hope and expansion, and hoping that you guys are all feeling loved right now. And I just thank you for listening to the podcast and being here with me every Monday, every week, every time you get an opportunity to listen. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to have a platform, and even appreciate more so having a platform where people are reaching out to me and inquiring on being on the podcast. So thank you to those who have inquired. Thank you to each and every person that has been on the podcast or that continues to help the podcast to grow. I truly am grateful for you, and just hope we can continue to and grow together. If you have reached the end of this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It really does help me with the overall message and mission of this podcast. Until next time, guys, I thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Hey guys, it's Icarus here.
And Amelia.
And I'm here to tell you if you'd like to join our brand new adventure. Go to DevonTaylorAuthor.com to learn more.
And check out the cool items like the new bucket hat.
Yeah, and so much more. See you guys there.
Shine, brain like your lips for stars. Stay true to yourself, don't quit.